I've gained tens of thousands of followers in the last month just explaining the world's in the news, and the number one question I get asked is, well, where do you get your news? So this is that video where I'm going to explain. One, I love a physical paper. Maybe two. I've read the paper since I was 8. My parents got me a subscription to like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Forbes magazine. Unfortunately for them, I still did not become a finance pro, but I still love a paper. I think our brain processes information differently. I love going to my local newsstand and picking one up. If I'm going to pick one up though, because a paper, buying it every day can get expensive. So instead, I normally tend to buy the weekend edition. The weekend edition of any paper is going to be a little longer, a little more comprehensive and in-depth. If I'm buying a paper or just my favorite news sources to get a brief rundown, you can also get like free access to these on the internet through your library, through your school. I like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Financial Times. New York Times and Wall Street Journal are going to give a great overview just of everything going on in this country and beyond. They have great international reporting teams. Financial Times, too, is going to break really interesting stories with a center on how they're affecting the markets and the economy. They also have a little bit more of a global view. They'll like go over what's going on in other countries better, so I love that as well. Also, if I really want to understand something financial, I love Planet Money on NPR that explains various financial things. Sometimes it's like a silly little thing that might not relate to the news, but that's still fun to listen to, too, because the point of all this is that I love understanding the world. Like, it's so fun, and the world is a great place. I understand a lot of challenging things happen, but at the end of the day, I love humans and I love understanding them. So I love that. I love NPR in general. I also love Bloomberg. Bloomberg has great technology podcasts if you want to understand that. It also has really good just reporting in general, specifically about financial things, because Bloomberg is part of this giant company that has all these Bloomberg terminals. Those are the things that Wall Street uses to get information, so Bloomberg is going to provide great reporting on that. Anyway, that's an aside. If I want to understand what's going on in Hollywood, like the media industry, then I love something like The Hollywood Reporter. I also like this podcast from The Town and The Ringer with Matt Bellany, who's an editor at Puck, which is one of my favorite news sources as well. Now, Puck isn't a news source that I'm going to go to if I want to run down just of basic things that are happening. But if I want to go a little deeper into what's going on in DC, what's going on Wall Street, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, Puck is going to provide like this in-depth insider context. It's like gossip version of the news. If you want to understand what like the CEO of Disney is thinking, then they're going to provide like all these insider sources kind of explaining what people at Disney are thinking before they make a decision. So I think Puck can provide this great context, and it's a great news source. If I want to understand global events, the world, I love Bloomberg, the Financial Times. Semaphore is great, particularly for Middle Eastern news. I like the BBC. Again, like a lot of these might seem like Western news sources. I live in, the West. So like these are the news sources I read the most. It's important to try to, in each individual circumstance, like if I'm reading something about the Middle East in Semaphore, I'm going to go try to find a local news source also to provide that perspective. But I can't say that those are the sources that I'm going to first. I'm going to the sources that are closest and easiest to access first, because I'm trying to maximize like the amount of information and like stuff I can learn in the least amount of time, because like we're all busy. And so I love all those sources. And yeah, I also do a newsletter with my friends. It's probably just easier to read that. It's linked in my bio and it's on Substack, but it's just like a weekly rundown of everything that we think you should know before you go to dinner with your friends. I also make these videos here. It's probably also easier to understand. Another thing I'll say is that it's really important to understand the context. Like there's that infamous Kamala Harris quote, like you didn't just fall out of a coconut tree, you exist in the context of all that was and all that was before you. But she laughs, and God forbid a woman laugh, I guess, because now nobody likes that quote. That quote's very true. Nothing that's happening today happens in isolation. So if you want to understand the history, which I think is really important, then I love this podcast by these two guys who explain history. It's called The Rest is History. If you want to understand something like Iran, they'll go back and explain what like the entire 1979 revolution for you. If you want to understand what's going on in Congo, like I just did a video about that. They have a really in-depth series about the Congo and the history of it behind it. Because really, the point of this channel, like me making these videos, is that I love the world. The world has a lot of challenges. It's hard. If we understand it, and if we understand each other better, we become more empathetic. And that's why I make these videos. Like if we can understand things better, it like makes our future collectively seem better. Like if we can understand it, then we can solve these problems. But also if you can empathize with other people, you're going to be a lot happier.